Get out now. Scorpion fled as if granted amnesty, dragging his men out in a panic. Once the danger passed, my tensed body went slack, and I nearly collapsed. Shenling studied me, her brow furrowing slightly. Stay away from that crowd from now on. She clearly didn't want to get involved further. She turned to leave. I quickly called out to stop her. Captain Shen, do you know where they took my parents? They're Lin Jiangguo and Wang Shumei. Shenlin thought for a moment, then seemed to remember. Brother Bao sent everyone without supernatural abilities, along with the elderly and disabled who couldn't do heavy labor, to the abandoned factory outside the North Gate, calling it letting nature take its course. My heart sank. An abandoned factory like that. No food, no protection. How is that any different from waiting to die? Once Shenlin left, I immediately shut the door. I had to get to the North Gate factory. I had to find my parents. But first, I needed strength. I grabbed a chocolate bar from my backpack, wolfed it down for a quick energy boost. Then I spotted the steel pipe Scorpion had left behind. It was rusted and slightly bent. I placed my hand on it and refreshed it. Then, a brand new, gleaming steel pipe appeared in my hand. But that wasn't enough. I ran to the kitchen and found my dad's old, outdoor survival kit. Inside was a multi-purpose military shovel, a survival axe, and a dagger. They had all grown dull from disuse. I refreshed all 3 weapons, instantly restoring them to razor-sharp condition. When night fell, I slipped out during the patrol's shift change and quietly headed to the North Gate. It was far more desolate than the main entrance. Only 2 guards stood watch, yawning. I didn't alert them. Instead, I found a blind spot in the surveillance. Using the brand new rope I had refreshed, I easily scaled the 3-meter wall. Beyond the wall lay a wasteland. In the distance, I could make out a factory, like a silent steel beast. The air reeked of decay. Occasional zombie growls echoed in the darkness. I gripped the pipe and crouched low, quickly making my way toward the factory. But the closer I got to the factory, the more zombies there were. I hid behind a crumbling wall. At least a dozen zombies were gathered at the factory entrance, drawn by some noise, frantically pounding on the factory's sealed iron gate, while faint cries and screams came from inside. My parents were in there. I was frantic, but my mind warned me not to force my way in. I surveyed my surroundings and spotted a row of high windows on the factory side, roughly 4 meters from the ground. Maybe I could enter from there. Having made up my mind, I sprang into action. I grabbed a rock and hurled it with all my strength at an abandoned car in the distance. It struck the windshield, producing a sharp crack. Sure enough, the zombies at the entrance were drawn to it, turning sluggishly and shuffling toward the sound. Seizing the opportunity, I dashed to the factory wall. I pulled out a rope from my backpack, one end tied to a climbing pick. I swung it hard. The pick lodged firmly in the windowsill. I took a deep breath and nimbly climbed the rope, swiftly pulling myself through the window and rolling inside the factory. It was a massive production floor, filled with rusted machinery and scattered parts. Only thin beams of moonlight filtered through the damaged roof.